Going straight to the KGVO Newsmakers line live, we've got Sheriff's candidate T.J. McDermott, who won the primary back in June. And T.J., first of all, good morning, and thank you for joining us on Montana Morning.
Good morning, Peter. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Of course, one of the big stories we had this morning is the Montana Political Practices Commissioner, Jonathan Modell, reached a decision in the complaints filed against you by your candidate, Josh Clark. The findings went out, and want to find out what's your initial reaction to the findings by the Political Practices Commissioner that your campaign violated finance laws.
Well, Peter, we received a finding from the commissioner late yesterday afternoon. We haven't fully evaluated his findings, but we take our responsibilities seriously, and we'll fully cooperate with the commissioner's office and do anything that his office suggests. The decision indicates that there was an accounting issue with a single campaign event, and we're going to work towards correcting that accounting issue, and we'll be filing an amended report.
All right. Now, does this decision nullify the primary election?
No, it doesn't. This isn't something that would make someone ineligible to seek office or even be removed from office. I appreciate the fact that the commissioner noted that he didn't have any evidence of any systemic, planned, or unreported illegal corporate money schemes. In fact, this was an issue with one fundraiser involving $1,300 in a sheriff's campaign that properly accounted for over $50,000.
All right. Now, one of my most important questions is the sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer of the county. Now, do you feel this decision against you and your campaign will reflect negatively on your ability to uphold all the laws in Missoula County should you win and take office?
No, I don't, Peter. It's unfortunate that we made this accounting error, but these mistakes happen. Mr. Clark recently admitted in a Missoulian Independent article that he had also made a mistake, an error in his reporting of an in-kind donation from a law firm. I didn't file a complaint against him with the commissioner. I understand we're both new to politics, and unfortunately mistakes happen. But more importantly, at this point, the commissioner has also indicated that my campaign and the law firm have cooperated fully with his office. It's not a situation where expenses or contributions weren't made known. It's just they weren't properly accounted for, and we'll be filing an amendment to our report.
Now, let me ask you, is it a common practice for candidates? I've never run for office myself, so is it a common practice for candidates, no matter what the party, to have various businesses or corporations or even law firms host a special event or maybe allow the candidates to use some of their facilities, phones, postage, things? Is that a common thing that happens?
Well, I'm new to politics myself, but from talking with folks, it's very common for candidates to specifically use real estate offices, law offices, or businesses that have phone banks to make, get the vote out calls. And so this decision really is going to give some clarity to what candidates are going to be required to do in the future across our state. So, I think it has the potential to change things because, candidates want to follow the rules, and it's just this is complicated stuff, and the more clear that the commissioner can make what's required, I think is going to benefit everybody. Yeah,
I've also been told by some unnamed sources that are close to the whole issue here that the decision may, using that word may, with capital letters, may send some shockwaves throughout the state for those who plan to run for office in the future, because the rules seem to have been there, but maybe either they haven't been enforced or they haven't been properly understood by candidates. Would you agree with that?
I would. Yeah, this is definitely going to change things. Again, it's very common for law offices and other corporations to host fundraisers, but also to allow access after hours to phone banks. And, the calls that being made are local calls. There's no expense to do that. And the commissioner's telling us that we have to figure out a way to have an expense for that. So, I'm not sure how to do this at that point, so I look forward to working with him and he's indicated that the best arena to resolve this issue seems to be a settlement between his office and my campaign. So I just look forward to putting this behind us, Peter, and getting back to the job of law enforcement and, protecting and serving the citizens of Missoula County.
Now, the ruling states that you're going to have to apologize, or you may be asked to apologize publicly to the community, voters, your fellow candidates, and possibly pay some sort of a fine. Are you willing to do all that?
Of course. I'm willing to do whatever it's going to take to, properly account and have this matter put behind us. People that know me, Peter, don't question my honesty or integrity. We're willing to admit our mistakes with this event and this accounting and doing whatever it's going to take to make it right.
All right. So I just want to say thank you for spending this time with us. Now, the election is coming up in November, and as of right now on the ballot, your name will be the only one that's there, and if people want to vote for Mr. Clark, they'll have to actually write it in. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I will be the only one named on the ballot, and just looking forward to winning this election and having it be official here in November, so we can get that sheriff's office back on track.
Now, I was going to ask you just one more quick question, and that is, I'm just trying to imagine what the sheriff's office must be like to work in right now. I mean, just with the natural back and forth and tensions of a political race, and a race that's gone on even past the primary, past the public's decision on who they want to be sheriff. Is there some way that you and your staff and the rest of the folks can basically get together and work together for the community?
Oh, I believe so. This has been a very contentious sheriff's election. Josh Clark has had a hard time, moving past the results of the primary election, where the community overwhelmingly voted me to be the next sheriff. So, we're going to have to go through this process. We'll have to get through the November election, but ultimately, Peter, they're professional people that work at the sheriff's office, and everyone just needs to get focused back on protecting and serving this community.